Hello and welcome, everybody. Welcome to the Hot Corner live strategy session. I'm your host, as always, Steve Straza, Director of Research at All Star Charts. We do the show every Wednesday at 1 o'clock Eastern Time. Coming to you a little bit late today. Guys at the studio had a fire alarm go off. These things do happen. So 1:30 today. Be back to 1 o'clock next week. Actually, programming note. That's right. Next week, we're actually off. We'll be in Sonoma for our Portfolio Accelerator event, and we'll be back the following week. So that'll be next show, May 29th. Anyhow, we got a lot to talk about today. A lot to talk about. I don't know if this is a bull market shirt I'm wearing, but it might as well be because the bulls are back in control. I'll tell you just how I know in a second. Let's get this disclaimer out of the way first. Nothing we discuss here today constitutes any solicitation to buy or sell any security. It's all solely for informational purposes, not to be construed as investment advice. For more on our disclaimer, stockmarkettv.com/terms. What's up, everybody in the chat? Curtis, Carter, Mary, Adam, Abraham, Cross up. He loves this bull market. Prior cycle highs checklist. This was our roadmap, right? What did we say? Once we look at this and we're seeing more or less all green on the screen, it's go time. Green light. We got it. Today, S&P 500, new all-time highs. NASDAQ, new all-time highs. Prior cycle highs checklist has the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ on an equal weight basis, right? We were just drawing a line in the sand. The prior cycle highs, they look like this. Pretty much all of the charts on this list look something like this one. It's the equal weight S&P. You can barely see it here. I'm sorry. Should have zoomed in, brought a shorter term chart. But we've dropped the VWAP here from the year-to-date pivot highs. That's what we're calculating in the final column on the right-hand side of this table. Are we back above the anchored VWAP from the all-time high set just earlier this year? And if you look at the table, it's pretty much yes in every situation here. Sure, we have a couple holdouts. India, fine. Retail, energy, we'll be okay. You know, we were talking on the morning show today. Energy probably shouldn't have even been on this list. Look at today, for example. Just the tape today. Whole market's green. Huge day today. Right? Breadth is incredible. New highs continue to expand. Ton of new 52-week highs today. And then there's energy, red. It's actually clawing back a bit here. But I'm seeing still slightly lower on the day, an equal weight basis. XLE just flipped green since I last checked it, not more than 5-10 minutes ago. So that's encouraging, right? But there is still some sort of at least slight inverse correlation between energy and the rest of the market right now. So energy is the holdout. That's fine. Everything else, pretty much checking the bull market box. Correction is over. It's time to increase our exposure to risk assets. That's how we want to be positioned, I think, into the end of the year. This is great. We got the correction out of the way. It really wasn't very severe at all, which is fine, right? Great. Strong, resilient market. Primary trend, very much intact and higher. There's Vanguard, mega cap growth. Clean retest of those prior cycle highs, reclaiming that VWAP. There we go. Now, what's one last thing I need to see? I don't even need it. I'm so long right now. We're going. We were jumping this thing, you know, a couple of weeks back. Saw this coming, I think. Risk appetite is looking really good out there. Breadth continues to expand. I want to see overbought momentum readings, though. It's never perfect. You never get what you want from the market. It'd be nice to see some overbought momentum readings here. You can see this in the RSP chart, right? Right now, here today, we're trading about 67.50 in the RSI 14. I need that above 70, really. particularly in the indexes making new all-time highs like NASDAQ 100, triple Qs today. We're not overbought quite yet. So that's really what I want to see. After that, there's nothing more I could ask for. All the bullish boxes will have been checked. It's go time, people. Breath continues to expand. We don't want to look at the strength from utilities as a bearish development, right? Utilities were banged up. These stocks were not working very well, not really participating, at least to the same degree as the broader market. Remember just fall of last year, what utilities looked like? Terrible. So these stocks now joining the party and working is not bearish. And they're leading over the trailing month, maybe the trailing quarter. But there's also groups like energy, materials, financials, up 10% over that, those same time frames. So I think this is more of an expansion and participation than it is defensive leadership. And one area that we're seeing participation expand to is the worst, some of the lowest quality, most beaten up names. Names like GameStop and AMC Entertainment. Unless you're really good at ignoring the news, you probably know what's been happening here. They call them meme stocks, right? These are just heavily shorted names. And in bull markets, short sellers tend to get squeezed. And in this case, they're not getting squeezed again, absolutely trampled by the bulls. GameStop was up 100% Monday, another 100%, at least intraday yesterday, gave back a lot of that. Still closed up like 60% yesterday, down like 30% today. Right, this is not for most people. And that's not why I'm showing these charts. It's not going to be a long idea. So that's what you're waiting for. You can go. It is information though, right? Well, we may not be paying super close attention. This is important. This speaks to the animal spirits, right? This speaks to investors reaching out on the risk spectrum and favoring some of the riskiest stocks the market has to offer. You go on Twitter right now, everybody's talking about GameStop's balance sheet. Oh, sorry about that. And new growth initiatives. It's got nothing to do with their fundamentals. Nothing to do with that. Monster short interest, close to 30% short interest, like 10 days to cover. And this roaring kitty character is tweeting out memes. That's all it is. Great trade if you were in it. Great trade. So we do this just about every day now because this list is so hot. Hotter than even the hot corner right now, our freshly squeezed list. It's just a universe of more than 200 of the most heavily shorted names, broader market. And boy, when these names go, they go. Right. So we're seeing really broad participation, strong internals in this list right now. I think yesterday, only 3 of like the over 200 tickers were red on the day because brokers are increasing margin requirements on these heavily shorted stocks. So if you're short, you might have to liquidate some, right, to meet that higher margin. So I think that's why you just saw just across the board, anything with a high short interest yesterday was pretty much up. If you're in a name right now and your bull thesis for being long that name has anything to do with it being shorted and it's not up this week, get out of it. Because they're all working. So this has been a great list for us. Did a promo on this yesterday. If you missed it, reach out, get with Spencer and Mary. They'll hook you up. We'll have a report on the website later today. So there's some overlap with our hot corner list. Carvana is one of them. Carvana, one of the poster childs, along with GameStop, of the short squeeze. Beautiful base. Been long since 60. It's well on its way to target 2 here. Continue to like it. Still a hefty short interest. One of the biggest. Let's see. Can I find it on this list? 28.5% last it was reported. 4 days to cover. Tenet Healthcare, target hit. 127. Nice pop on earnings. What a beautiful gap and go. This is my favorite chart right now. What do I mean when I say that? This is what I think these charts from our prior cycle highs checklist, these charts go on to look like. Ready? Prior cycle highs. Nice throwback, successful retest. Now we're off, bulls back in control. Tenet Healthcare, prior cycle highs. Took them out, nice retest, successful retest, really clean. Ripped right back to our target at the 161.8%. If you've been watching these videos, you've been hearing me say several weeks, maybe even a month or two now, let's get long these leaders against these prior cycle highs. Let's enter something like Tenet, if we're not already in it, at 92.50, right here, with a tight stop, $1 lower. If we're back in this range here, we don't want to be in it anyway. We had so many opportunities like this over the past few weeks. A lot of them in tech, growth, large cap land, right? You bought this weakness back to 92.50 and Tenet Healthcare already got your target hit like 40%. Not bad at all. Let's try and buy more charts that looked like Tenet did just a few weeks ago. ASML, Taiwan Semi, Uber, right? Even ones that might hook higher. Get to AMD in a little bit. There's so many of them out there. I think those are the setups. That's where we want to be fishing. Brown and Brown, target hit. I think we stay long this leader. It looks so good. 87.15. If we're above there, we are right now. I think we keep it long. 108.50 is the next stop. Brinks Company, some new setups here. No particular theme in mind. Why do we need a theme when there's such broad participation in the market right now? Right? Look at home builders today. Look at semiconductors. So many groups are working. Look at financials, the banks. Brinks Company, BCO. This is the armored car company, I believe. Right? BCO, if we're above 97, breakouts in the books, next stop 136. Great setup. Axis Capital, AXS, financial. Big purchase here. 200 million in the Form 4. Am I reading that right? Wow. Multi-year base breakout. $70 is that level. Look at the momentum to these new all-time highs too, right? Really like that momentum. So if we're above 70, 71, long target of 95, that's another new setup. Axalta Coating Systems, AXTA. Almost decade-long base. Massive base. This is, I believe, part of that building materials theme. Axalta Coating, specialty chemicals in the materials, right? The materials sector. It's a huge base. Love this one long above 36.50. Target 51. Ritchie Bros Auctioneers, RBA. Yeah, we did this on purpose. This one's an industrial. You could argue maybe it should be a discretionary stock. Doesn't matter, right? New highs. Looks like we're getting a breakout. I need to see a little bit more to confirm this breakout. RBA, last 2 days haven't been great. Trading around 76 and change today. We really want it on strength back above 78.50, where we have the second red arrow drawn. We got to be back above those pivot highs. Right there. We're right there. Point is, we're getting breakouts in all these different sectors and industry groups. That speaks to the really, really, really strong market internals that we're observing right now. Don't throw out your tech stocks, folks. These were the early cycle leaders. Technology, growth, particularly large caps. They've done nothing on a relative basis. Really, they've been laggards since late January, right? So for most of this year now, started the year hot, but that ended 4 months ago now. I think tech's back, right? So look at this chart. Came off a nice uptrend, went sideways for several years. This is the relative trend of technology versus the S&P 500, right? So nice underlying uptrend, sideways, bunch of digestion, broke out, retested. Doesn't this look a lot like the charts that we keep talking about? Broke out, retested. See it better in MGK, right? It's the same chart. Makes sense. Makes sense. Being driven by the strength in the numerator. Tech in both cases. Mega cap growth is just mega cap tech index. Anyway, I think we dig in here, flip this old resistance into support. I think tech starts leading again. Just flipping through the charts today. Tech by far strongest sector out here today. Off of, I guess, a CPI print that seemed to give the market what it wanted. Big broad-based rally today, led by tech. Interest rates coming off. I think you're going to see strength down the cap scale tech. And I think cycle leaders, secular leaders like NVIDIA continue to work really well. They got an earnings report coming up. The point is it's well on its way to our target. I mean, if you're looking for a place to get in right here, right now, I think you just use the pivot highs, right? We got this nice little consolidation that's been in place just about all year now. 960. 960 pretty much gets you to new all-time highs. We like NVIDIA. We think keeps leading this market higher. Qualcomm. Buy on strength only. Qualcomm, not a leader within tech. Maybe a nice catch-up trade. Ripping higher again today. Actually breaking out in a pretty decisive way. Momentum getting overbought. This chart doesn't have the last 2 days of data or the last day of data. We're actually getting the breakout right now. Tommy Tubbs. This is Senator Tommy Tuberville, Alabama. Very active for a politician. Very active in the market. The most active by far. Nancy Pelosi, she gets all the headlines, but nobody's out there trading like Tommy Tubbs. All right, so 194 breakouts in the books. Got to be long Qualcomm. 250 would be the next stop. It's the kind of stock that's working, right? Large mega cap semiconductor. Breaking out of its range finally. Zoom out of the chart. It only looks better and better and better. I like it. Qualcomm, long. Triggering right now. Cirrus Logic, sticking with the semiconductors for now. CRUS. Massive base. One of these .com bubble bases. Only one target's been hit. A little bit of a slow and sloppy start out of this massive base. See that all the time. It's like a 30-year base, actually. It's even longer than the .com bubble bases we're used to. This was the .com peak. This was the early 90s peak. This stock is a dinosaur. Institutional filing. Last year, McKinsey Financial, 5% ownership. We're above 98. And we are. I even think, you can keep it a little tighter around 110. 110 represents the pivot high from last year. $110 breakouts in the books. So you got a range there, 98 to 110, target 160. I like Cirrus Logic. I think it ends up looking more like AMD and Micron, NVIDIA, and some of its peers over time, which means results higher from this base, keeps hitting targets. Advanced micro devices. Just telling Alfonso how much I like this one. It's a buy on strength only setup. Been watching it all day. We're up about almost 4% here. I'll probably jump it. But really, you want confirmation back above 164 in this one. Maybe use the pivot high. from late April around 160. 164 is really the level, and it's clean there too because you had the shelf of lows from earlier in the year there. Looked like we were holding the breakout. We launched, almost hit the first target, and then absolutely smashed right back into its old range. I think this is going to end up being a nasty bear trap. We hook higher. And I think this is a great risk reversal candidate if and when that happens. CrowdStrike, CRWD. This is the chart. This is it, right? Talked about like Tenet Healthcare. Got the breakout, hard retest. Buyers showed up. Bulls are back in control, taking out the VWAP from the year-to-date high. This is a great stock and a great group too, CrowdStrike. Cybersecurity. So that's CRWD. We're long above, I don't know, 298, call it 300, target 425. Same chart. ServiceNow. Breakout, hard retest, 700, 710 is that level. Target 940. Long this one too. Uber, same chart. Early cycle leader. Early trend reversal back in late 22, early 23, really. This stock has been so good to us this cycle. I think it continues to be. 64 is that level. This is nice weakness to buy into in a stock that's really strong over longer time frames. 64 in Uber. Target 91. Guess what? Emerging market stocks are working now. It's not just China. Emerging markets without China still looks even better. China's been great. Off the lows a couple weeks ago, right? Really thrusting. I think China's back, but I think it's not just about China. This is an emerging markets theme. And we have some awesome emerging markets charts on our list that also fit in the technology theme. Coupang, online retail, Korea, Southeast Asia. We're above 21. Let's go. 32. Target at 32. Yeah, big form 4 buyer in this one. C Limited, SE, well on its way. Next stop for us is 88. It was high and tight here. Past couple days, I think you're getting, not even past couple days, really since all of May. High and tight against the highs from, I don't know, March, right? Let's see it here. I could have zoomed in, but I wanted to show this big base. It's not even complete yet. It's not even complete. So I think if you want to get in, as we continue to climb up the right-hand side of this base, you have pivot highs right around like 66, 67 that we're taking out today after a big indecision candle yesterday. I think we'll be at 88 soon and C Limited, and then we'll be back with some updated targets once the reversal's really in. And I think more emerging markets charts in general coming our way. We have a good amount on the list, so we're going to keep an extra close eye on those. Citigroup, banks are working. Banks are working so good. If rates come off, I think you see that strength start to move down the cap scale. I don't know what's going on here today with this intraday reversal. All the banks have some nasty red candles. So maybe let this price action settle out. They've been good though. KBE was really close to overbought. Same with XLF. So let's see kind of how this shakes out today. Maybe we're not buying into the banks right here, right now, but these charts look really good. Primary trends have reversed in something like Citigroup. One target already hit. I think this is a buy on strength setup now. Kind of flirted with it today, Citi, but giving it back now with a long upper shadow. Again, let's see how we finish the day. Let's see how we finish the week. Citigroup, both 64 and a quarter. I like it long, target 80. Wells Fargo, I like even more. 60 is a breakout level. It's so clean. We're drawing right through this little blow off top from 2018. How many times this level has been tested? We just continue to absorb more and more overhead supply at this level. I think bulls have just about absorbed all of it by now. Long this breakout with a target of 84. I like Morgan Stanley. I like Goldman Sachs. Always like JP Morgan. They all look good right now. Big banks definitely are longs. And I think more and more the regional banks become longs. If you're looking for a regional, Merchants Bank continues to stand out as one of our favorites. That's MBIN. Didn't bring the chart along. It is on our list though, and it was down. I saw yesterday, it was down about 10% yesterday. I think we could buy that weakness all day. Corebridge Financial, CRBG. Dancing around the 161.8% extension right now. I think as long as we're above 29.30, risk is to the upside. Next leg's probably underway, target of 39. Bitcoin having one of its best days in a while today. I've anchored a VWAP from the year-to-date low and the year-to-date high here. You can see them kind of pinching together with price chopping in this little range for the last month now. 66,000 probably gets us back above the all-time high in year-to-date VWAP, which is anchored in red here, right? Like if and when that happens, go time. Go time for Bitcoin. Go time for cryptos in general, right? And go time for stocks like MicroStrategy. It's at our level right now. Looks so good. We should have a VWAP anchored here from the April high. March high, I guess, right? That would be coming in right at the current price. We're trading around 14.15 right now. I think that's your confirmation, right? That AVWAP that we're literally at right here, right now. 1300 is the level. I'm long. 1300, first stop 2000, but then we want more, right? Because this is gonna, as long as Bitcoin is moving higher, this chart will be moving higher and then some. This is a leveraged long vehicle for crypto. I'm sorry, for Bitcoin, remember, right? So Bitcoin, stick this 66,000, get back in control of the tactical trend, back above this red AVWAP, right? Then we're going through 70, and then we're probably going a lot higher. So MicroStrategy, I'm not expecting to hit just one target here, right? I think we continue to squeeze this y-axis here and show you the next fib extension and the next fib extension. If I were a betting man, but let's see it. Let's wait and see it. All right, questions, comments, concerns? Want to say hi, shoot us a note, info@allstarcharts.com. Let me check the chat. See if anybody's talking to me. MMYT, great stock, sure. Nutanix, love it. We were just talking about it in our internal meeting. I've been looking through the options chains. I was looking through a lot of options chains today. C Limited, Coupang too. C Limited, calls are expensive. Probably better off playing it with Common. That might be the case with Nutanix too. Either way, I'm getting long. Not sure how I'm going to do it just quite yet. Probably through Common, but I'll be long by the end of today. Ran out of time. AMD, yeah, like it. The bull market is back. Bull market is back. Rose looks good. Patrick's been on that one. Chart Report Private Access has been on that one. ADI, yeah, along that. Sean and I put in options play on that a couple weeks back. Rocket, a lot of people like the Rocket. Rocket is on our freshly squeezed list. Apple, as it turns out, it wasn't a top in Apple, guys. Wasn't a top in Apple. I don't think it's going to end up being a top in Bitcoin either. Bull market summer. Picking up what you're putting down, Curtis. All right, thank you guys so much. You make this show such a pleasure for me. Thanks for always interacting and being active in the chat. Meet me here, not next week, but 2 weeks from now. Remember, no shows next week. Thank you all for joining. As always, happy hump day. Catch you next time.